5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How about we do it again?
6, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think I fought it.
Okay, let's try one more
I
time.
definitely.
Ready?
Ranking review. Ranking review. Ranking review.
Say 6,
6,
5,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Rank and Review. I'm not telling you what episode number this is because I'm not sure. The Beckmann and I recorded this episode to bank one for the new upcoming 12th season of Rank and Review. So as my voice is being recorded, it's like 2025, but you're hopefully going to be listening to this in early 2026. The theme of the episode is retro horrors. And yeah, Beckmann and I are going to talk a lot of movies from the mostly 70s. There's one from the 60s. But how do these things age? What do we like about the way they age? What do we dislike about the way they age? What's the difference between a movie that ages gracefully and a movie that doesn't? I've been on the record in the past to saying that comedy tends to be the one that ages the most, with the most difficulty. But horror is a pretty easy sort of rod with which to measure things like, did it affect you? Did it scare you? Did it stay with you? Well, the Beckmann and I are going to get into it, and so, prepare your ears. Also prepare your ears for spoilers, for the 6 movies being reviewed, and for coarse language most likely from me. Rank and Review drops every other Wednesday. If you would like to find something else to fill your ears with, I highly recommend the Shelf Shedding Movie Show or A Lifetime of Hallmark. Both friends of the podcast, both quality podcasts in their own right. Please check out the website at ranknreview.ca. Consider checking us out on YouTube. And send your feedback to ranknreview@gmail.com. That's ranknreview@gmail.com. And yeah, I guess that's all of the business out of the way. So let's get into some retro horror. Lee Beckmann.
Yo.
It's absolutely lovely to see you.
Yo.
I have Lee Beckmann in the house, my house, my basement in Saskatoon. And it's a weird thing. We're talking about retro horrors, but I don't know when this is going to drop. I'm guessing it will be 2026 by the time this reaches the people's ears. So congratulations for making it to 2026. Beckmann and I like to bank episodes, and since this episode is placed out of time, it's kind of appropriate that all the movies are kind of from the 60s and 70s.
Lost in time.
And unlike last time we've done sort of retro cinemas and things like that, I don't know that these are like well known as much. I mean, there's a Roger Corman movie in there, but like,
I think
this is second or third tier. These are maybe not the obvious picks even of a,
I think a true cinephile might know these titles, but like, to the normal people, it's like, what? What's this?
So I was showing you like basically a slideshow of like literally hundreds of proposed episodes.
As you do, yes.
And of all of the ones we were looking at, a lot of them made you chirp up. You selected retro horrors.
Yes.
And I'm curious if it was a title or just the idea of going backwards in time. Why did you want to do this episode?
It was the title. I right off the bat, the second that I saw I went, sold, because I had heard things about this movie. So as sort of like a pseudo film historian, I did a little bit of digging, about the people who made it, its production. Larry, were you a wrestling fan back in the day?
Never was. Never been a wrestling guy. Never really been a sports guy. Let alone a sports entertainment
So
guy.
if you were a fan of like WWF, now known as WWE wrestling, during I'd say about the late 80s, early 90s, like when he was appearing on Saturday morning, was a Saturday morning cartoon show, but live action. But they were trying to like push the envelope because they were running out of ideas. There's only so much, because it is like a cheap male soap opera. You got to push the envelope. So Vince McMahon decided to, approach Jake the Snake Roberts and Macho Man Randy Savage about doing this whole bit where he actually gets bit. Live TV, mind you,
right,
for children. And so, they agreed to it, but Macho Man obviously terrified because you're just waiting to be bit.
Right.
By a snake. Now, I don't know if people listening to this show, it's a phobia of mine.
Right. So it's personal.
Yeah. I uncomfortable. I love and respect snakes, but that is one way I do not want to die, let alone be bit by a snake. Anyways, and this goes back to if you're going to have a boa constrictor, around my body, but I'm getting away from this whole plot. And
we'll definitely talk about that when we talk about...
Okay, but let me finish the wrestling story.
Yeah.
And the whole trauma. So they decided they were going to record this because it's done in stadiums around around the city or around the world, because they go from stadium to stadium. Just change the show. Jake the Snake and Randy, I did not like Randy Macho Man Savage at all. And even though they did practice the bite, because like the snake, it's trained to bite sort of gently and not as aggressively. But I guess Macho Man had pissed Jake off during the match somehow, so he got really angry and like hit the back head of the snake to get it angry. So when it latched on, it was horrifyingly real, and blood was coming everywhere off, Randy Macho Man's chest as they were shooting this relatively live.
How old were you when you saw this?
10.
Right.
Yeah, like it was trauma for like a lot of people were upset with it. Like it went too far. Too far.
So that led to a fear of snakes, which led to your interest in which led to us sitting in this basement.
Yes. Just, snakes.
All the rest just came along for the ride?
Well, there was other interesting titles. I always love watching a good Hammer film that I hadn't seen before. Right. Roger Corman was like, ooh, Roger Corman. Truth be told, I had never seen Shivers, and I'm a David Cronenberg fan, so I felt like, now I have a reason to it. So it was just such an eclectic choice of movies that have all their sort of neat little things of history. And
I mean, there are some sub-themes within some of the movies, but they don't have it like... There's a couple of mad scientists, there's a couple of, a lot of dour endings I've noticed in this bunch.
Yeah.
I think that largely I was more interested in balancing the good to bad or the interesting to less interesting than I was to finding a theme to this one. They're all, like I said, from the 60s.
It's schlock. That's the thing. This is schlock cinema. I love schlock cinema. I think if you're going to be a true cinephile, you have to embrace both its cheap aesthetic, but also the stuff that you can get away with.
None of these would you call prestige?
No.
But I do think...
memorable in their own little ways.
Yes, and for that reason it's worth talking about. And a lot of these are over 50 years old, and a lot of them, like I said, second, third tier. People are going to miss these movies. They are going to slip away into the mists of time. And this is me giving them a little shout-out. Even the ones that kind of pissed me off a little bit.
So these films made you angry, Larry?
Well... That's not a fair thing to say. They're from a different time, but I'm of this opinion that the worst movie I've ever seen, somebody cared about it. Somebody was on set and they believed this was going to be their ticket to Hollywood, and they put their heart and soul in it. So I don't not that I don't give hateful reviews, but I don't like to, especially in this tier of movie.
Okay.
I think you'll find I'm much more forgiving of a low-budget horror movie that's got personality.
Yep.
So I'm like, those special effects were wonky, and that central performance, I mean...
Woo!
Yeah. But
Yeah.
whereas if it's like a $200 million movie, if I see this kind of shit, I get kind of irritated.
Yeah.
So, and looking at it through the lens of time, I do think that there are a lot of youngins today, not to sound like the old man I'm becoming, that will see something that's just authentically reflecting the atmosphere of the 60s and 70s as far as the relationship between men and women and how things were, that they would find it uncomfortable to the point of not enjoying the movie.
Yeah.
And I just see it as an unself-conscious representation of the times.
Sure. Okay.
But for that, it's kind of historically interesting. But I do think some people would be off-put at how completely decorative most female characters are in these movies.
Okay, fair enough if you want to look at through that lens. I just like the fact that we live in a world where a group of people thought it was a good idea to get money to make a movie about a man who poisons himself and sees through X-ray eyes.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Excessive, but still beautiful.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. These are all like little mini capsules in time. They're all, it's not a boring list. Like, I was generally intrigued and entertained by, like, they weren't boring.
Yeah.
Flawed and all.
I would say there's one that I would call boring.
Yeah,
But
okay.
let's get into it.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to say by introduction?
No, I think that's... Also, by the way, dear current rank and review champion Scott.
Who knows? It's the future. We don't know.
Okay, but really?
It could be. It's very likely it'll be Scott, but yes.
Okay.
You want to say something to Scott?
I wanted to say congratulations officially, Scott. If there was one person to take away the throw, well deserved. Thank you for breaking my heart.
So I'll be referring to you as former champion.
Oh,
Mr. Lee Beckmann.
the title away from me. No, go ahead.
All right. We're going to start. We're going to get it out of the way. We're going to rip off the Band-Aid because you don't like the snakes. We're going to start with...
Yep.
Which is a weird title for a movie.
I did like the fact that they did go with it. Like, bravo.
Right. And then we can recover by, celebrating our Canadian roots with our Cronenberg and Shivers, one of his very first air quotes mainstream releases.
Very interesting history about that movie too. Yeah.
The famous for 5 minutes and then forgotten Reincarnation of Peter Proud.
Wow, chicka wow wow.
Yes, this is one of the ones I'm talking about that so authentically reflects the attitude of the 70s that it could vaguely feel offensive today. From the Hammer Horror Studios.
Yeah.
Taste the Blood of Dracula. I believe this is the
6th.
The 6th?
No, wait a second. This was the 5th Christopher Lee Count Dracula movie.
It's one of the Christopher Lee Dracula Hammer horror movies, but it was in the cycle, and it is... We'll talk about it during the movie, but every movie is Dracula's resurrected, Dracula kills some people, Dracula is defeated.
Yes, that sounds about right. Yes.
So this is one of those. The Cremators. This is an interesting...
Cremators?
Cremators.
Because
they're burning balls from the sky that burn people into dust.
Yes.
And run people over.
Yes.
It had this reputation of being a so bad it's good, like a Plan 9 from outer space, or like one of these laugh at it, not with it sort of movie vibes.
Yeah.
And, well, we'll talk about it. I don't know if I agree with that assessment.
Okay, alrighty.
And then we're going to finish off with Roger Corman making X, the Man with X-Ray Eyes, starring Ray Milland. Which I have a memory of seeing at a young age and actually being creeped out by not what he sees through his eyes, but when they actually reveal his sort of what his eyes look like after abusing these eye drops. Yeah, I remember being creeped out by it. So I used to be, when I was a kid, very sort of snotty about old movies. Yeah. If it was black and white especially, or it felt too tangibly, tactily old, I was dismissive of it. Yeah. The Haunting and this and a couple of other movies kind of taught me, retro can still be freaky.
Yep.
Once this motion picture sinks its fangs into you, you'll never be the same. Don't say it. Hiss it. Don't say it. Hiss it. Don't say it. Hiss it.
What the hell are you doing here? Get out! Get out! Get out!
Parker, what is this? I feel like my guts are being rearranged.
Touch your skin. It's scaled. Look for your legs. They're gone. Feel your body. It's cold. And listen for the hissing.
So, in the gentle year of 1973,
Yes, very gentle.
comes from the producing team Zanuck Brown, who would just a few years from that give us Jaws.
Don't hiss it. Say it.
Yeah, it's a pretty dirt standard and sort of like it's a mad scientist doing experiments that he should not do.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this again with X, the man with X-ray eyes.
Yeah.
But there's a few things about it that make it stand out and stay kind of interesting in that they would not make a movie this way today at all.
Not even close.
They use real snakes, they use real venomous snakes, although they do a little bait and switch with what snake is being used, so like
Yeah.
but still the actual actors handle actual snakes, are bitten by actual snakes, interact with actual snakes, have a relationship with like a pet with this small
Nope.
with this
Nope.
yeah, this is all fucking with Lee.
No.
Like that makes it interesting seeing them like working with the real animals and
Could not pay me enough.
and it's really straightforward. There's minimal score to it. Like, it's a lot of explaining, this is how we extract venom, this is what the snake is, this is how dangerous the snake is.
Yeah.
And then it slowly morphs into, he's experimenting on his assisting student
Yeah.
and turning him into the snake-human hybrid to,
Yeah.
improve humanity.
Yeah.
And that stuff is a little bit more clumsy. But I do kind of like the guerrilla... I kind of like the danger of the movie, honestly. Like,
no.
the fact that I am watching an actual dude work with an actual snake, CGI doesn't enter into my mind ever. It was 1973. This is just courage on film.
Yep.
So I respect it. I might respect it more than I like it, but I do think it's a worthy watch.
It's memorable.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they had real actors. I do want to give special credence out to Strother Martin, who does play the mad scientist. He is around snakes the entire movie, including getting bit numerous times. Could not do it. I mean, it's such a over the top character, anyways. I mean, he is the antagonist, but also like I'm trying to think like Reb Brown, who plays that one note bully kind of character, because he gets bit. To all the actors who had worked around snakes in general, I salute you. This movie was uncomfortable for me at parts.
And not safe for either the actors or the snakes.
No.
If you're watching it, like, if you're triggered by genuine animal kind of danger,
Yeah.
he tosses a few snakes across the room. And, like 7 years after this, we'd see a snake cut in half for this Friday the 13th, like an actual snake. We would never do this now. This has all changed, and it's changed for the better.
Yeah.
But it
They do
helps
have those-
the
yeah.
tension of the movie
Oof.
that all of those snakes are filled with, all of those cages, are filled with real snakes.
Yeah.
And we feel the pressure of that at all times.
Yeah. I know they had those like those glass walls that it's hard to see with the camera lens and everything,
Right.
but still, there are actors where the snakes are like wrapped around their arms. They're pressing hard. There's actors that like they would have to practice that so much to get used to being bit.
You'd think it would be part of the thing when they got hired,
Yeah.
There's a criteria to get the part. There might be a little nudity required. There might be a little makeup required. You might have to fuck with an actual snake.
Like, whoo! I hope these actors were well paid. Like, really. And, like, bravo that this film existed. I obviously, there's some, like, moral and ethical things that we could probably talk about, but, oh, my God.
But it's the shock factor and the kind of the retro exploitation factor.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if that rubs you the wrong way, it rubs you the wrong way. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, but we stopped doing it this way for a reason.
Yes. Oh,
But
yes.
I can't overpraise the movie. I think that
No.
Dirk Benedict, our lead character,
From the A-Team, no less.
well, he may have honed his craft by the time he got onto the team, but
Yeah.
he was handsome, but flat.
Horribly miscast.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
like, there's even lines where it accentuates it. Like,
Well, wait.
haven't you ever heard of blind passion before?
No, I have it actually
You
right
have it here.
here. There's the line between him and and the daughter of the mad scientist. She's talking about his skin. I don't know. It looks different. His response: late adolescence. As for the rest of me, haven't you seen wild-eyed passion before?
Haven't you seen
Brilliant
Wild-Eyed Passion
line.
before?
Clap. Like,
I am very passionate.
yes. Like,
Have
just...
you not noticed my passion?
it, like, wow. Bravo, sir.
Like, she's trying really hard
Yeah.
to make this chemistry
Yeah,
happen. And
it's
I feel
just,
like he's like
not there.
he's a cardboard stand.
Yeah.
She might as well be acting to a picture of somebody at some time.
They could have done a second take. It's all I'm saying.
I feel like he got hired based on his handsomeness and his willingness to put up with all the makeup that they were
I
gonna
think
put
he
up.
had a nice bum and someone liked it.
That is true. We should talk about the air quotes nudity in the movie.
There's lots to talk about this movie, but yes.
Well, first of all, it's a 70s movie that's rated PG that should probably not have been rated PG.
Yes.
I think that kids would be traumatized by this movie.
Yeah.
And it is very sexual, and like he
They do go to a kind of brothel-like place at one point, too.
yeah, and his first move on this girl who's his boss's daughter is, let's go skinny dipping.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't asked you out, we barely know each other, but
Yeah.
let's go skinny dipping.
Yeah.
And she's like into it. And then all of a sudden, this like really flute music that's just there's no other way to say it. It's
Very
like
70s. Yeah.
And they do this skinny dipping scene, but there's these lenses painted, or these leaves painted over the lenses, so that
Yep.
it's like Austin Powers
Yep.
nudity.
Yeah.
And that's funny, but it's not being like played to be funny. It's
Yeah.
like legitimately straight. Like this
It is such a masterclass stroke decision of everything that is wrong.
But like it feels like they're being tactful, or they think
Yeah.
they're being tactful, and
Yeah.
it's just stupid and funny.
Yeah.
It's just stupid and funny. Either do the scene where we see them naked for no reason,
Yeah.
because a lot of these movies will do that,
Yeah.
or don't. And if you really want this movie to be PG,
Yeah.
I would say don't.
I wonder if that was a last-minute decision, where they just kind of like superimposed those leaves or something. I don't know. It's just you're watching it and going, "Huh, why?" But I don't know. It's just one of the many odd choices this movie has.
Yeah. The snakes kind of steal the show. Again, all due respect to the mad scientist, and you're right. He's playing with snakes and doing long shots, particularly the one where he gets bitten by the air quotes black mamba.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then after being bitten, he puts that snake away,
And acts disappointed.
puts the other snake around his shoulder, goes and sits down and talks about how he is venom proof. He's not reacting to the
Yeah.
bite. But like you said, it was all one shot, and he worked with not one but two
Yeah.
real snakes.
Yeah.
And all held in one shot, and you just have to think like that was a hard day of work. That
Yeah.
was an interesting, weird, and at any point either of those snakes could have done something to blow the take and
Yeah.
start again.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they were like very well trained. Also, probably really very well sedated.
Milked, I would guess. If they were, quote, truly venomous,
Yeah.
they were probably milked of their venom before they were handled.
But-
But my guess is they introduced it as the black mamba,
Yeah.
but the snake we saw him handling was some sort of benign garden snake type of thing.
Obviously, but still just the same, that you would have to be like that comfortable
Right.
around the snakes. I just remember in grade 8 they had this like kind of mini carnival come to our school, and you could for like $10 get a picture with this boa constrictor, and they put it on me, and I could just feel instantly tight, like, and I can still like I had to adjust my breathing basically, and I looked terrified in the photo, and this actor, the Struthers Martin, puts this thing around him, and you can actually see it just gently constrict on him.
I I don't know. For me, I have with snakes. It's so similar to a bug thing.
Yeah.
I'm not typically bothered by a garter snake or something that I see by the river valley until it gets to a certain size.
Yeah.
Something with bugs. I'm not typically bothered by a bug, but when it gets around hand size, fuck you.
Yeah.
Right? So, like if it's just a little snake curled up in a tree trying to warm itself up, you do you, dude. Yeah. But if it's a big old thing coiling around my foot, we got a problem.
In that shower scene with that very villainous bully,
Stephen King villain, just evil for the sake of evil, holding a grudge for the whole movie to be the narrative device that he is.
Yeah.
Again, the writing is sloppy, but the snake payoffs, particularly that scene, it's in slow motion. He's in a shower.
Yeah.
He's clearly bit on the foot, and it looks like in his reaction he actually steps on the snake a little bit.
Yeah.
They move the snake out of the shower. It looks like it's still kicking and okay, but like slow motion, genuine interaction between man and animal, and
Nope.
it's uncomfortable for Lee. Lee's still like he's reliving it right now.
I am actually. It's just like no. This film struck a primal nerve. Which is why like I appreciate this movie. Like it just has that quality of just staying with me right now. Nope.
But it does have this dichotomy in it. On one hand, it's got this edgy, dangerous quality with the snake stuff.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it feels very retro and traditional in its monster movie payoff.
Yeah.
And like when he goes through his final transformation from man to snake, it's a series of crossfades. Yeah. And they did that same technique in The Wolfman.
Yes.
Well over 20 years before this. And like, it feels old school. The payoff in the last moment of, dear God, what have we wrought? Yeah. The mad scientist getting bitten by his own snake, and like the heroine getting there just in time to see what has become of her love. It's all very sort of B-movie monster standard. What the movie has going for it is the shock factor.
Yeah. How did she figure out that, was it David that's the main character?
Yeah, when he turns into the King Cobra, he's just a King Cobra.
It's and he's fighting a mongoose. Yeah, I'm just like, what? No.
Yeah. I think it was almost interesting, the thing that they touched on with the mad scientist, where he was like, I should not allow myself to feel guilty about experimenting on people. Yeah. Because in spite of being a scientist, he's deeply religious on top of this. And his attitude was, I handle venomous snakes all of the time, so if God wants me dead, he can make me dead. But then we're later revealed, he's immune to the venom of the snakes, so that's not exactly true. The only one he actually fears is the King Cobra. Yeah. Which is what he's trying to turn this guy into some hybrid human King Cobra thing. Yeah. And yes, the scientist is killed by his own sort of fear or creation. La la la.
Do you think he did it deliberately or is it by an accident?
I don't know if he wanted to breed the two of them, or like he was talking to the snake about this pretender to the throne or threat to his throne, and he was like bragging about his work. Yeah. And right away he dropped the stick, which he usually did when he was handling the cobra. So I do feel like on some level he was going into that.
Because the walls at that point are definitely coming in around him. He knows.
His daughter is going to find out that he's been doing these experiments. Yeah. So he can die with his, quote, legacy still living somehow.
Brilliant. Brilliant, I say.
There's also a clumsy narrative issue that the very beginning of the movie opens up with him selling this mysterious crate with these noises coming out to this carnival worker. Yeah, and
shades of Puppet Master, by the way.
That's right. We don't talk about Puppet Master in this house.
Okay then. It's too soon.
Too soon. The wound is too fresh. Okay. But yeah, we know right away that he's a mad scientist and he's up to no good. Like, they don't feel the need to keep that from us. Yeah. And they could have, because again, the snake stuff would have probably been enough to keep us interested. But it is very convenient that not once but twice our characters bump into this roadside carnival in this movie. Yeah. The first time, just our bland hero goes in, but the second time she goes in and recognizes this creature for the former lab assistant. Yeah. And she rushes to save him, but she's seconds too late. Yep. The tragedy. You know, David Cronenberg's The Fly, it ain't, but that creature template, it's tragic because he did nothing to deserve this.
Yep.
We'd feel more about him if his character was maybe better executed, but he's still just some guy who took a job at a place, got lied to, got injected with a bunch of shit under false pretenses, turned into a snake, and was instantly killed.
Yep. Not a good life.
It's a tale as old as time, really.
That's what we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're scared of snakes, it's an easy sell.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you feel like if you're off put by the, quote, exploitation of animals, maybe not.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say about
No, just...
He implanted her with a parasite. You gotta get at them. Fast.
Why won't you let me help you?
Listen to me. Tell him I need help and to make it fast.
So, at the time of recording, this movie's about exactly 50 years old.
Yep.
It was released in 1975, made in Canada by Canadians. This up-and-coming, rough-and-tumble, tenacious little filmmaker named David Cronenberg.
Yes.
And he has always been of this sort of, like, more sedate, laid-back, even though he covers really tough, weird sexual stuff.
Yep.
Like, he's got his own sort of focused, patient vibe, usually.
Yes.
I don't usually associate him to the same sort of thing like early Peter Jackson movies, which are like way over the cross, splatter comedies, like meant to sort of test your gag reflex.
Yeah.
But upon revisiting Shivers, I got a lot of early Peter Jackson vibes.
Okay.
To like a really good extent. It's like a Parasite movie. Okay?
Yes.
It's like this apartment complex is like ground zero for this disgusting alien parasite invasion.
I do think Slither has a lot of explaining to do, actually. And I mean that as a compliment to Slither.
Slither's borrowing from a lot of things, whether it knows it or not. But certainly Shivers, certainly Night of the Creeps. But yes, they enter your body, usually through your mouth or presumably any other orifice.
Yes.
And once they get in you, they take over your body and they basically unleash all of your hidden, repressed, violent, and sexual desires.
Yeah.
You're not exactly a zombie, but you're this insatiable sort of hedonistic thing that is trying to spit out other parasites into other people through sex and violence.
Yeah.
And this one poor, pretty mediocre actor trying to put a stop to what's going on, or explain to the world at large what's going on, or at the very least save himself from what's going on.
Yeah.
And low budget, financed in part by the government of Canada.
And boy, did that create a stink. The history on this
people
movie.
were kind of like, really? Our tax dollars went to this disgustingness? Me? I'm loving it. I'm all smiles. This is for once. I'm completely okay with my tax dollar being put into.
This is the film that made them re-examine the Canadian Broadcast Film Government Association, whatever the acronym was at the time.
But it was much more financially solvent than a lot of the history or art films that they would
went
typically
down as probably one of the most, or if not the most, financially successful films of that particular program.
It was the kind of commercial movie they should have been investing in if they wanted Canada to not just be a piggybacking of the American film industry, which it kind of is, if we're honest. Canadian film is so small as to be kind of... We should be, if not competitive with the States, creating art as valid and as alive as anything that's going on in the States. And we work for them, not for ourselves, more often than not.
All right.
And this is a scrappy young Cronenberg making a movie as ugly as he wants to make it, because he's just young and don't give a fuck. He just wants to make this
there's a couple quotes
grisly, grim movie. It is tactilely and obviously cheap and at times I will even use the word amateurish in its presentation. And I would prepare anybody going in the movie, yes, this is a fact. It kind of has a bit of a student film energy at times. But you're going to see things that will shock you.
Yeah, the last 20-30 minutes of this movie, it's exhausting.
It's 87 minutes long, like it's less than an hour and a half. It gets the job done. It's exploitive, it's ugly, it's grotesque, and I would buy a beer for everyone involved. Like, I mean, I like it. It's grotesque and, cheap. Like, I keep going back to it. It's not for everyone. A lot of people will just watch a few minutes of it and feel like, no, this is a little bit too retro for my particular taste. Yeah. It's low-budget Canadian, violent, pseudo-parasite zombie sex cinema. Yeah. And the gloves are off right away. Yes. He will never make a movie like this precisely again.
Nor should he, but
But I would love it if he did. I mean, The Fly is pretty fucking grotesque and out there too, but like, not with this energy, not with this sort of glee. Yes. So, it's a guilty pleasure, but I am giving a thumbs up to Shivers.
It's an effective horror movie. It made me like just wonderfully icky when the final credits rolled up. I thought, you know what, this movie did affect me. So on an emotional level, I say bravo. Cute little historical facts. This film actually got him kicked out of his apartment because it caused quite a stir when it was released, because it all of a sudden made the headline news that here was this film that was making waves both here in Canada and the States and in Europe, making money, and it was like it pushed some moral boundaries in a lot of ways, and it for a while, like, the government had to, like, there was discussions in Parliament about, are we going to continue this, because it is very exploitive. How would you describe the last half an hour of this movie, Larry?
Well, it kind of lets go of, the slow boiling kind of concept. We know that things are going wrong. Some people aren't affected, some people are. The reveals of the parasites into the bath water. And
it shot out Barbara Steele, who was also that witch in Black Friday, that Mario Bava movie.
Again, generous nudity, typical for the time. Yeah. But again, some people will go, "Oh my, yes, how dare they?" It is what it is, people. But like you say, in the last 20 minutes, we all let go, and it just becomes full-on chaos. This guy goes from room to room, situations, and there's more and more people chasing him, until it's just like fight or flight, and there's literally 100 of people chasing him, like, into the swimming pool, and like he is swamped by them.
Ravaged, really, is the word I would use, but it's
the energy of someone who's about to get gang raped.
Yeah. And you can make an argument almost really does. I mean, the camera does cut away, but
you feel like the second that the parasite is in him, he's kind of going to be into it. But it's still a physical, sexual violation.
There's lots of wrestling in this movie. One of the cute little historical things about it is that originally Jonathan Demme was going to direct this movie because he was part of this group.
Weird.
Well, I mean, Ivan Reitman was a part of it. He's he's one of the producers of this movie, and at sort of the last minute they switched to Cronenberg because he had stereo underneath his wings at this point. But he described it as, in 15 days I had to learn how to make a movie, and that's how long it took to shoot this movie. So it was done pretty much on the fly. Yeah. It's very impressive, just from it feels professionally shot in some ways, and how it's edited. In other ways, it's very cheap, and like some of the performances are very wooden and whatnot.
I think they're going for naturalistic, but some of it just comes off as flat and bad.
Yes. But also good use of prosthetics. That scene where the guy's in the bed and he's talking to his parasite and it's going like up and down his body.
Well, you see the sort of fingerprints of what Cronenberg was going to become. Yeah. But he usually wasn't so overtly exploitive, at least without not having more going on. Yeah. It wasn't ever just about sex and violence, except for maybe in Shivers and Rabid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the other ones, there was always like another meta layer or another sort of symbolic sort of thing happening. Or
Yeah. But I do want to read a quote that kind of summed up Cronenberg, because he was getting the money for this, and he got money from this group called Cineplex, which he described as sleazy distributors. And I say that with affection, my kind of people.
Nice.
I'm just like, thank you, David.
Well, that sounds gross and exploitive, and we can definitely sell that, right?
Yeah.
I also found out there's a special feature. There's a really nice collector's edition of this Blu-ray that I have, and he was going to move out of Canada and like basically give up on being a quote Canadian director if he couldn't get it financed. He figured like this is as close to commercial as a movie that I would like to make. You know, he wasn't interested in doing a romantic comedy or a kids movie. He's going to make it as Cronenberg as he can do it.
Yeah,
you know. So if he couldn't get it financed in Canada, he was going to move stakes and literally move himself to the United States and set up shop in LA. But because he got his first financial success out of Canada, he decided to keep the roots here. A lot of the people that he works with to this day go back to this period. Like he keeps the same group around him, and they all know how each other works. Apparently, it's a very comfortable set, no matter what grotesquerie is being shot. There, everybody's like smooth as silk. But this, you know, who knows what would have happened if Cronenberg moved to the United States? But I like that he stayed here. It's one of the things that I really respect about Cronenberg, over and above his body of work. He's absolutely okay with saying he's a Canadian filmmaker.
I guess he did shoot both The Fly in Detroit and Dead Zone, or not Detroit, Toronto. And did he shoot the Dead Zone in around Toronto as well?
Canadian. It was shot in Canada for an American studio, but he does make some movies internationally. I'm sure he's probably shot in the States too, but I would say that probably easily 60 to 70% of everything he's ever shot was in Canada. Fun horror nerd fact.
It's that.
Because you're here.
Yes.
Cronenberg, of course, as we know, is the first kill in Jason X.
Yes.
And he wanted that so much that not only did he volunteer his services for free, but his crew shot Jason X.
Nice.
The same people that brought us, you know, Crash and Dead Ringers.
Nice. Nice. Good on them.
It's a Canadian idea. I have to prepare anyone going in. I've been very positive about it. It is, again, the same refrain I've said over and over in this episode. It's not going to be for everything, for everyone. If it's the first time you've ever watched a Cronenberg movie,
it's an icky movie. Yeah,
it's a gross movie, and it's not... It's representative in that, like, he's willing to show you stuff that you're not expecting to see, but it's not representative in just how openly embracing the exploitation this movie is. And it is cheap, and the acting isn't good, but I respect how much it goes for it. A modern audience might expect more, especially if they bring in the weight of, this is David Cronenberg, right? And I think that you do have to sort of measure your expectation on that way. If you meet it on its own sleazy, made by friends, ultra cheap level, I do think you can have fun with it. Don't eat while you're watching.
No, I was eating wontons and I stopped.
Delicious.
TMI. Anyways.
Is there anything else you want to say about Shivers?
No. I mean, just check out the history of the making of this movie and the controversy that it stirred as well. It is a piece of Canadian cinematic history, and it really did start, the career of... There's no one else quite like David Cronenberg. Like, if you look at this body of work, even like watching The Shrouds recently, no one else can make a Cronenberg movie, and that alone is, he is a cinematic genius in that regard.
And it holds true to what I would always say about, like, the worst David Cronenberg movie is still interesting.
Yes.
So, yeah, we love David Cronenberg. Yeah, we're Canadian. Deal with it.
You have only one life to live. Or do you?
Marcia, I didn't mean what I said back there.
That voice must belong to the man that I was.
I didn't know what I was saying.
I must be the man playing tennis in those dreams, driving that car, swimming in that lake.
Now you're telling me you've been reincarnated.
Right.
Take it from me. When you're dead, you're dead. Suppose you knew who you had been in a previous life.
What is this, some kind of a joke or something? You've signed the name of the deceased, Jeffrey Curtis.
Where you had lived.
Mrs. Curtis, the old lady who lives here. She's been away for years.
Whom you had loved.
That was my husband, Jeff. He died a long time ago.
I know.
How you had died.
No, Marcia! No!
What then? The Reincarnation of Peter Proud. The best-selling novel is now an electrifying motion picture.
Who are you, Peter Proud?
If I tried to explain, you'd probably think I was insane.
Look, you are a one-man revelation.
Of all the people in the world, Sam, why me?
The Reincarnation of Peter Proud. The story of a man's obsessive search for a prior existence.
I know I've been here before.
Jeff. She thinks you're her son.
The Reincarnation of Peter Proud. Starring Michael Saracen and Jennifer O'Neill.
Who are you, Peter Proud?
Will give you second thoughts about a second life.
Because I was there.
Marcia, no.
Because I was there.
So the Reincarnation of Peter Proud, once again in 1975. I think the influence of The Exorcist is starting to bloom in full. It's 2 years after The Exorcist.
Sure.
And they're trying to adapt any kind of popular published novel that is in the horror or suspense genre and turn it into the next electrifying thing. And I think at the time in 1975, both the book and the movie were kind of like water cooler talk. It was like it was a zeitgeist moment.
Summer pulp fiction novel of the day.
And it was big for, like, let's say a year or two. Everybody was talking about it.
Yeah.
And then completely forgotten.
Yes.
There was a bunch of these, Audrey Rose, The Sentinel, like adaptations of successful books into so successful movies that are kind of interesting time capsules. This is the least remembered of those, I would probably argue.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think because it was just another one in the series and maybe the least memorable, and because the narrative of the story, and if it's the first time you've run into this type of story, it could be compelling. I've seen it enough times.
It has that sort of almost vertical Rebecca vibe, Alfred Hitchcock
self-fulfilling prophecy. You have a vision, you got to make sense of the vision, you're obsessed with solving this puzzle, but it's inextricably leading you to your own demise.
Yes.
And everything about the story is screaming it, but for some reason you are lost to this trap.
Yeah.
And again, if you were new to this type of story, I think it superficially works. Yeah. But it's kind of a one-time ride. Yeah. Like once you've seen it and you get that punchline, there it is. Yeah. I remember an old Ron Howard movie, that Ransom movie.
Sure.
It's fun. Like, what's going on? How are they going to get out of this twisty movie? Yeah. It was a fun one-time ride. Yeah. And everyone has forgotten it since. And I feel like this is kind of in that neighborhood. It's not necessarily poorly executed for its time. It's not an uninteresting story. It's not badly acted. Yeah. It's just very familiar. Yeah. And it's also very dated. And I believe I described it to you as a strangely horny movie. Considering...
Yes. There's lots of nudity of both the female and male, and it definitely has a bow chicka wow quality to it,
but in an uncomfortable way, in a a subtextually incestuous relationship between Peter Proud, who in a previous life was this woman's dad, we're led to believe that he now is having a sexual relationship with. Yes. Uncomfortable, right? Yes. Margot Kidder masturbating to the memory of being sexually assaulted by her husband.
Yeah, like there's some really unnecessary, disturbing sexual violence.
And like of course it was a traumatizing event to her, but why is she masturbating to this trauma? Like, she's fucked up, obviously. I guess that's what that's saying. But it also just seemed like another sexy, quote-unquote, scene to have in this movie that's full of them. It opens with Peter Proud in a bed with a beautiful naked woman. She talks about how this guy's going to be proposing to her in the fall, and they're having this fling, and they're super casual, and they don't they talk about having sex all of the time, but beyond that they don't seem that interested or vibing together. And like you said, she vanishes from the movie
about halfway through, honestly,
and he's in love and sleeping with somebody else right away. Like, it just goes without saying. He doesn't do anything to romance these women. They love him right away. And if you hang out with women for long enough, they just take their shirt off and start having sex with you in the middle of the woods. It's absurd.
I was going to say, much like real life.
That's right. It's so much like my life, it's scary.
No.
But
okay, no.
like, maybe
no,
the novel was horny too. I'm not.
I don't know.
That
I do wonder if there, it was kind of, smut that was popular with a lot of certain sections of society in some sort of ways, if that was that kind of book. But
and maybe the uncomfortableness and the boundary pushing was part of it, but I think it was just meant to be titillating.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
Now.
Yeah.
Just the absurd notion of sex scenes that, like, again, just like I was saying about the premise, once you've seen enough of these saxophones, slow motion, slow pans around the side of people, and making sure we get to, we're gonna see your nipples. There they are. There's like, we got it. It's a contract with the audience that we have this.
Yeah.
But that becomes more what the movie seems to be about than this supernatural mystery.
Yeah.
I keep having these visions. It's becoming intrusive in my life.
Yeah.
These places I'm starting to recognize. I'm being drawn back to it. Why is this?
I have an erection. Boom. Yes.
Why do I have this image of this man drowning in a lake?
Yes.
And why do I suddenly find myself in the same lake in the middle of the night? Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yes.
Dude? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's problematic.
When smart people make bad decisions.
That's right.
Yeah.
The movie's problematic, but it's not uninteresting. But yeah, I think it was disposable for a reason. It is maybe a one-time ride, and it's forgotten because it's, in the end, kind of forgettable.
I think one of the mistakes the movie makes is that we pretty much know where the story is going, and I was waiting for some sort of twist that never comes. I knew that, spoilers, Margot Kidder character is going to once again. Does he shoot?
In the original dream, he is hit on the head with a paddle and drowns. In the new version, she shoots him. That's the only thing that's different.
Yeah. Knew that was going to happen, and I just thought, I was waiting, like, maybe the daughter was in on it or whatnot, but just no. And I think that was sort of a mistake. But yeah, it's pretty to look at in that sort of 70s hazy lens sort of aesthetic, but
and to rub off more Canadian content, because we were just talking about David Cronenberg film. Margot Kidder and Michael Sarrazin, both Canadian actors. Margot Kidder is supposed to play a character which we span 30 years. We see the previous trauma which led to the original death, and then almost 30 years later, 27 years later, however old Proud is supposed to be at this time, it starts to play out again. And the old age makeup is inadequate. Like, she does
high school level.
It is kind of cringy. Like, clearly you are not 30 years older at all. And like, a little bit of wrinkles around your eyes and some like gray highlights is just not doing it.
No.
I think you needed to cast somebody else. Or like
honestly, you could cast an older actor to do it. Like, it's just so unnecessary
because you're distracted by the fact that that's just Margot Kidder with like some terrible makeup on.
Was Jessica Tandy just too busy? I don't know.
Well, anyone, like, if they vaguely looked like her, we would accept. If you said this is this character 30 years later, we would just roll with this punch. But
nope.
No, we're not going to do that. And I think it would make the ending more impactful if she was a frail, more gentle-looking old lady that fucking shoots this guy's brain out the back of his head. Like, you maybe would be less inclined to say, no, it's just going to happen exactly as it did. His vision is also a premonition. It's not just a memory of his last life. It is a premonition of how his current life is going to end.
Well, in sort of the zeitgeist or the history of pop culture, once again, like, they were very much interested in that sort of ESP reincarnation spiritual stuff. The Satanic Panic would soon follow.
There's a scene in that where he walks into a dorm or something, and there's this guy openly recruiting for the Church of Satan.
And it's just out of nowhere.
again, the post-Exorcist satanic panic zeitgeist is sort of starting to express
all those
itself.
Christians.
But again, a lot of religious horror is going to come out. The Omen is in the horizon. The Sentinel is on the horizon. All of these sort of like scare people back into the church type of things.
Yeah.
Also, I think a failing of the movie, and I don't know if it's the actor or the character, the execution, or maybe the inevitability of it, is that I think if we really liked Sarazin and we really bought into these relationships, that he cared about these women and that he loved them, it would feel like more of a tragedy than an inevitability at the end.
Yeah.
As his body sinks to the bottom of the lake, I think we should be devastated, not like, yep, there it is. This is what we thought was going to happen, and here it is playing out before our eyes.
Yeah.
And that way, when the slow romantic music plays to remind us of all the, quote, love in the movie starts playing, I think we're supposed to be sad and devastated. And I'm like, he felt entitled to these women, and he felt entitled to his answer, and he kind of like ignoranted himself to death on some level. Like, dude, what are you doing in this lake? What are you doing in this lake? It reminds me of the review we did of Reign of Fire, right? What's the easiest way to feed me to this dragon? Like, let me absolutely recreate the situation in which I know in a past life I died. I wonder what the result will be.
I wonder if any good is going to come from this decision.
I'm going to put my hand on this hot stove.
Yeah, well, I guess there is. It is a sort of morality tale that, if you sleep around a whole bunch and if you sleep around a whole bunch, you're going to get caught and end up in a...
That would be another way to play it. If it was a judgment on Peter's character, in a way he was that guy, resurrected, and he was mistreating these women. But
was he, though?
I didn't feel like we were meant to judge Peter. I think we were meant to...
he was definitely mistreating the kiddo character for show. Yeah.
But I think we were meant to feel sorry for Peter Proud, and I'm failing... I feel like it failed to make me empathize with him completely.
Because he's not a really good human being, though.
That's right. Yeah. So that the tragedy doesn't feel as tragic, consequently.
Yeah.
And just because it's a tragic ending, that's not the thing that seals the deal for me. There's lots of movies that don't end the way you necessarily want to, that I can watch over and over again.
Yeah.
Big 12 Monkeys fan. Big, like...
Yeah.
There's lots of examples of, like... Oh, but that twist that hurts, but yeah, I get it.
Well...
Sorry about that, Carlito.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in those cases, you kind of feel it when they go down. You're like, fuck, dude, you were right at the finish line.
Yeah,
God, damn it.
I know.
And that's
why,
what
cinema gods? Why?
Whereas I was like, yeah, there it is. And it's done. Okay, that was Peter Proud.
Yeah.
Soon to be forgotten.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about the Reincarnation? I've been kind of short on this one.
I've already forgotten about Peter Proud.
So be it.
Dracula is back to select his companions in darkness, who must die that he may live. If you shock easily, stay away.
She's neither dead nor alive.
Lucy! Lucy! Lucy!
Paxton! Paxton, listen to me! The mark's on her neck! She's a vampire! Prepare yourself. Every nerve, every muscle.
No.
Prepare yourself for the greatest shock of all.
So there was a long series of Dracula movies made from the Hammer Studios.
Yep.
And
there was a time.
The sort of ace they held in their hand was, of course, Christopher Lee.
Definitely one of two, yes.
Yeah, and I think that by this point he was checked out of the franchise. They always had to...
Clearly, because this is the sixth, yeah.
They always had to talk him into it. He was always fighting for the scripts to be better.
Yeah.
It was an easy payday for him, but like he wanted to enjoy his days on set. He wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're this deep into the franchise and that like they had to all but beg him to participate kind of puts me a little bit shields up going into it.
Okay.
I think you need to be a fan of the Hammer aesthetic going in.
Okay.
Sort of the bright 60s color, the sort of push-up bras, the sort of like melodramatic
Victorian.
acting.
Yeah. It's very sort of Victorian area-esque.
Yeah.
Yep.
Melodramatic, over the top, sort of, yeah.
Yep.
And that's fine. We have these 3 British aristocratic gentlemen.
Yes.
Who almost inadvertently end up resurrecting Dracula. And while they're doing it, they kill one of his servants.
Yes.
And out of character somewhat, because usually he's kind of a dick son of a bitch, and he proves himself to be that as the movie progresses.
Yeah.
He decides he's going to take vengeance upon his lost servant by killing these 3 people and manipulating fate and corrupting their children so that they are killed by their own kids.
Yeah.
And Dracula can fold his arms and relish his evil.
Sure.
And you know what? On paper, it's a little bit different. Dracula is taking a different method. He's showing personality. He actually maybe does appreciate some of his help.
Yeah.
Like some of the women that he cast his spell on, like, who overtly save him. A few moments later, he will dismiss as, I no longer need you.
Yes.
And, you know, the women are, like, lost. They just love him so much. He's so dreamy.
Because he's so Christopher Lee.
It is a paint-by-numbers effort on every aspect.
Okay.
But if you are into the aesthetic of the Hammer horror movies, like, this is another one. I say the same thing when I talk about a lot of low-budget zombie movies or low-budget slasher movies. If this is your jam, here's another serving of your jam.
Okay.
It does not distinguish itself in any way, I think, from the others. And I think that the third act, things kind of like peter out.
Yes,
I will
absolutely.
say politely, and we can get into that. But I am afraid I have to go with my industry standard. It's okay. It's alright.
It's okay.
I can't get excited about recommending it, but I
Yeah.
can't say don't watch it
Yeah.
if you're curious about it. It's absolutely a movie, and it has a beginning, middle, and end. How's that for a review? Fuck you, Internet.
Wow. Okay, that got aggressive.
I don't know where that came from.
Salty. I'm also going to call it a sort of a familiar storyline trope that, you know, that is still sort of used a lot to this day, and that's, you know, rich people that are, you know, have tasted everything, and they're going for, you know, for that forbidden, you know, a lot of ways, which was Dracula's blood, which at the same time, like, no, even if it's not supernatural, why would you want? I just no.
Because it says so in the script. Lee.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it says so in the script.
Yeah. And you can clearly tell that, like, Christopher Lee just doesn't really want to be there in some sort of ways. However, I do want to bring attention to its leading star, Christopher Lee, that I just mentioned. I'm going to give the sort of rank and review Cole Hauser Award to Christopher Lee as well. This is what this guy accomplished.
Sir Christopher
Lee. Did you ever meet a human being that was just far more interesting than you?
Yeah.
That is Christopher Lee. So this is some of his accomplishments. He was a world-class fencer. He worked for the British military in World War II in the British intelligence. He was both the lead singer of an opera and a heavy metal band. He was eventually knighted. There's a scene in the making, I think it's either Return of the King of the Two Towers, where they're talking about, and he's like, at least, I think he's Saruman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's getting stabbed. I think it's close to his death scene, so it probably would be Return of the King. And Jackson's trying to give him instructions about what it's like being stabbed, you know, in the side of the ribs. And Christopher Lee goes, no, actually, that's not how you do that. And Jackson goes, why? Because I was actually stabbed in the side of the ribs. And proceeds to tell him why and how. It goes through the whole, like, you start, because air is leaving your lungs, and you just, like, you know, breathing heavy and all these things, and described it. And I just go, that man has experienced more life than I have. So Christopher Lee, rank and review Cole Hauser Award winner. Like, he was such a fascinating human being.
I feel like it should be a Christopher Lee Award winner to dub him with a prize bearing the name of Cole Hauser.
We could. It could be the Christopher
Why don't
Lee
we give him a Corey Haim Award?
What has Cole Hauser truly accomplished? His
Anyway.
father died recently, but anyways.
He does get, like, it's not a totally phoned-in performance
Yeah.
necessarily, but there just seems to be scenes where he stands there and makes proclamations.
He also holds the record, for the Guinness World of Records of most movie roles as well.
Oh, really?
Yes. Sorry, I interrupted that.
Well, I'm just saying, he doesn't actually literally twirl his mustache, but that's largely what he's, like,
yes.
one of his...
Not
one of
quite
the 3 people
Whiplash,
will be killed,
but yes.
And then it'll cut to him and he'll say, "One down." And then he'll, possess the girlfriend of the son of another one, and the son will end up killing his own father, and then it'll cut to him, "Number 2 is down."
Yes.
And then, where's craft services? And then let's get the next, I feel like they got his stuff shot in one day, and the bulk of it was just the rest of the movie that they cut around him, right? Let's talk about the end of the movie.
Okay, go for it,
So I said, I think in the introduction, that all of these movies follow a very typical...
familiar pattern, yeah.
Dracula's resurrected.
Yep.
Dracula kills a bunch of people.
Yep.
Dracula is defeated and returned to a pile of dust or goo or whatever.
Yes.
In this movie, they have a final confrontation in this, like, I presume, ruined church.
Sure, yes.
Which suddenly, almost inexplicably, becomes reconsecrated.
Yep.
So just by him being where he is, he suddenly is defeated. Like, no one avenges their father's death directly. There's no, like, take this, you evil bastard.
Yeah.
He suddenly realizes the place that had been safe for him a few seconds ago is no longer safe for him.
Yeah.
And then he poofs into dust.
Yes.
And thank God, we did it!
Yes.
No, sir.
No?
No. This is like, give us a climax. I've been very patient with your movie, and I understand that these kids are being manipulated to kill their parents, not just as a story device, but because Christopher Lee couldn't be bothered to shoot an action scene.
Okay.
At the very least, give us a big finish.
Okay.
And I'm saying they did not do that in any way.
They disappointed.
They petered out.
It seemed like a last-minute ad. I will agree with that, but
don't peter out. A big finish. Leave them laughing. What is it that's story? The guy says in story from adaptation. Things cannot make sense. Things cannot add up. But wow them at the end.
Yes.
And they will love you.
Yes.
This movie does not do that.
There's no love for Larry.
It doesn't wow me at the end, and I think that would have gone
which is interesting because Hammer. One of the things that was sort of consistent with Hammer films is like they love the red. They love you splashing that red goo, that red syrup all over the films, and you could have gone for gold and make it very much a bloodbath, and it's not. And it also is a sort of a cheap add-on that all of a sudden he's surrounded by crosses. Like I said, like the place that was once his haven is now it's his tomb.
Yeah.
And what? No. But.
And again, it's getting to this time for sure. Like, he's been melted into a puddle of goo and reduced to a pile of dust and ash several times by this point. Like, the death, like, almost built in, is meaningless. So, but again, if you're a fan of this, someone can make these same ridiculous arguments about any sort of sequel to the Friday the 13th franchise. I bet you a bunch of kids are going to go to the lake, and then they're going to get picked off one by one, and then maybe one or two will escape, and they got Jason, or did they, right?
What?
Or I bet you the next Final Destination, someone's going to almost get killed in an accident and then have to cheat death. Or do they? To say it's by the numbers is like, it's not the thing to entirely hang the movie on.
Yeah.
But it is very by the numbers by any estimation. I haven't watched all of them, and I've never done the rank of the horror of the Hammer Dracula movies.
Yeah.
But my guess is this would be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
It's a bland mid-meal. I feel like if you're gonna watch one of these movies, start at the beginning, and if you get into it, progress as late as you would like to. But yeah, this is an entry point I would not recommend.
Fair enough.
Is there anything else you want to say about Taste the Blood of Dracula?
No, just taste the blood of Dracula, man.
I mean,
just taste it. Go on.
What's the worst it could happen?
From the world of the sun come the Cremators to ignite all mankind. see the Earth threatened by enemy aliens whose embrace means instant cremation.
What was that?
Creatures who look upon our civilization as though we were insects to be stepped on.
I involved her in this, and I involved you in this. And I don't know how far I can go. I don't know how to protect anyone.
See the Cremators, running wild, rolling over the land to leave ashen wasteland behind them.
The devil eyes. Bring it to me.
Man pursued by rolling, spitting mountains of searing, incinerating flame. An adventure into the realms of terror and nightmare, unrivaled on the screen. See the Cremators.
So, we've got to it. The Cremators. 1972. This is an alien invasion movie, but it really feels like it's 10 years older than it actually is. It feels like an early 60s, no budget, bare bones, almost not quite fully completed movie. Like it's cheese factor amateur hour, and its reputation was that it was so bad it's good. And my position is that is true for about the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
Like right away they establish this is an alien invasion, and the alien is a large flaming ball.
Yes.
That rolls over people and turns them into dust and like inexplicably.
Not just dust. I would say police, body tape, crime scene dust.
Okay.
I love the fact with the eyes and the smile, but go on.
But they show up, they burn people, they disappear. It seems inexplicably, and that this has been presumably happening for a very long time.
Yes.
And that it was initially witnessed by two people.
Yep.
Two things, I guess. A fish in a lake, which is very clearly...
Not just a fish.
It's very clearly stock footage of a hammerhead shark.
Yep. And dies later.
A native brave who sees it, runs from it, and is killed.
Clearly a white man dressed in, stereotypical, indigenous, for its time gear. Yes.
So yeah, I look at that and I say, this is ridiculous. They don't know what a fish is. This native brave, who is telling this story? If these are the two people who saw the comet and one of them's a fish and one of them's dead, who relayed this information forward?
You're asking too many questions for a film called The Cremators. Yes.
So I right away just let go and say, laugh at the movie.
Yes.
It's 71 minutes long.
Yes.
It feels like it's 171 minutes long.
Okay.
And pretty much after that laugh, and I just, okay, this movie's stupid, let's smile and laugh on it. Yeah. I smiled, started watching, and my smile faded, myself faded, it died, it never came back.
Okay.
I kept on checking the time, and I'm like, am I seriously 28 minutes into this movie? Is that all?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Okay.
And, I can sometimes get into, oh man, this was so badly handled that it's come full around to become entertaining. I don't necessarily seek it out, but I can get behind it. Yeah. I prefer that you don't make a bad movie on purpose. Yeah. And I don't even think that this is necessarily a bad movie on purpose.
No, they were trying.
But I will say that it's an abject failure at being entertaining, at being thrilling, at being interesting, and at making sense.
Yeah.
And maybe there are other people that can laugh at this. This DVD edition I have has this really cheesy dude introducing things like he wants to be like a half-assed Trailer Park Elvira or whatever, and it's just not worthy of this treatment or of any memory. I'm not sure. Usually when I watch these types of movies, even if I don't like them, there's always that scene that happens somewhere in the movie where I'm like, oh, okay, this is why people remember this movie, or this is why people talk about this movie. In this case, I am mystified. The special effects are so and repetitive. The action of the alien creatures are inconsistent, make no sense. The lead doctor investigating it is one of the most boring,
bland, no charisma,
vacuum of charisma. I have never seen a movie this short feel this long. It is shocking to me.
Really?
So I went in trying and wanting to have fun with it, and I didn't. And maybe I resent it because of that.
Yeah.
But easy bottom of the list for me.
Okay.
Hated it. That's my
Hated
review.
it.
That's my
Wow.
review of Cremators.
I haven't seen that kind of Venom since the film series that we shall not speak of.
So, that's a thumbs down review from me for the Cremators. Do you have a counter argument?
Well, maybe not a counter argument, because I do agree that the first 5 minutes I was like, welcome movie. I do want to start off with sort of a word in its definition, and it's schlock. Cheap or inferior goods of material trash, and that I think is a great way, and I say that lovingly, of a film like Cremators, because it does start off in that sort of really bizarre, weird, I can't believe what I'm watching. Even that's the sort of overall narrative. It does have that sort of drive-in, because this was a double feature of a drive-in classic that sort of had its way. I think one of the reasons why it's still sort of talked about once again in cinephiles' ways, like this is the feature debut of Doug Beswick. He was a big special effects sort of rotoscope stop animation. One of the disciples of times I saw one of the disciples of Ray Harryhausen. Like he did a lot of special effects. He's responsible for the Tauntauns from Empire Strikes Back. So that's why I think it's probably still kind of in the zeitgeist.
One of the actresses played Guido in Star Wars.
Yes, that was another thing I was going to say.
The rolling fireball effect that's clearly sort of superimposed on the film is impressive the first couple times you see it, but it is the same effect reused again and again and again. Yeah. And it's you overuse the sting, it loses all of its impact.
No, it is a joke that they go too much to the well. I agree, and it does lose its sort of quirky, weird, bizarre sensibility. Even the opening credits, because their version of a hippie, he's like running along this beach and then grabs this cat and is like swinging this poor cat around. Clearly this cat is not enjoying what's going on. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting you movie vibe. And then he's a peeping Tom in a conversation. And then there's this whole explanation of like the fireball is this like mama but these baby rocks that are really just tinfoil surrounded by rocks that glow.
As like a warning or a forbear.
I have so many questions,
and they don't have any answers.
I know, but
they don't have any answers at all.
But what do you like? It does. It gets bogged down in sort of these really uninteresting, non-charismatic actors, and the mystery of it is like so ridiculous. But it just it just loses steam after really like the first 5-10 minutes. Why?
I also feel like it's constantly explaining itself to us in the most direct way possible. Like the narration at the beginning, or the doctor just saying his thoughts out loud.
I think that's part of the whole genre, though. Like that so the that overall narrative and that.
Sure, I would accept that, but it doesn't make sense. Yes. If you literally spend the entire movie explaining the movie, and it doesn't make sense, you have done something terribly, terribly wrong.
Okay,
like you are fucking condescendingly spoon-feeding the plot points to the audience.
Yes.
But one seems nothing to do with the other.
Don't trust the narrator, yes.
Or worse, they start following another person, and this person saw the inexplicable alien fire boulder. Yeah. But they're killed.
Yes, but once again, you're asking questions.
And then this person, who's much more interesting than our protagonist, has an encounter with and they're killed. It seems like these side characters are so much more interesting than the main character.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I will give the sequence, though, of our heroine paddling out a boat and then the fireball coming towards it. I did giggle a little bit. Just a tad.
Again, a lot of times with this type of movie, it can be as like random as the day you see it.
Yes.
Like on the right day, maybe I would have found the whole thing like hilarious. Maybe it was antithetical. I wasn't watching it necessarily because I wanted to watch Cremators that day. It was like, we're going to do it for the podcast, so I better, watch it and have an opinion.
Yeah.
And so again, it stops being a conversation about the movie and about the validity of what film criticism is.
Yeah.
But like, I kind of reacted toxically to it. Like,
well, there's a tediousness to it. I agree.
Of all the movies to have even a minimal memory to it, even on a so bad it's good, there's got to be something more interesting than this. Like, if this qualifies as a cult property, what doesn't qualify as a cult property?
So, would you say that this is better than Shark Exorcist, then?
I think it's probably got more budget and more legitimate filmmaking behind it.
Yeah.
But its quality is not far. But personally, as far as the entertainment I got out of it.
Yeah.
And again, like, what I'd hate about Shark Exorcist is that I don't believe they were trying.
Yeah.
I believe they set out to make a movie that was cheap and shitty. And they gave us, on purpose, a movie that was cheap and shitty.
Yeah.
I will not say that about the Cremators. I think that they were trying to make an entertaining, schlocky, like you say, movie. They just failed. They just failed.
All right.
Shitty.
Yeah, no, well, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Like I said, like it stopped being this sort of zany film with after the 10 minutes. It did make me giggle a little bit, but I definitely understand where you're coming from somewhat. That?
I also feel, like I say, when I said it felt like an early 60s B movie, it was like, they're not moving the bar forward at all, or trying to.
Yeah.
And the movie doesn't make sense, and they seem to know it and not care.
Yes.
And if you're going to do that, be fun.
Bravo.
Like, Hard Truth, Army of Darkness doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous. It's kind of stupid.
It's got talking.
It's a 12-year-old boy movie.
Yeah.
But it is so enthusiastically and aggressively entertaining that you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck all of that.
Yeah.
I love this movie. It's awesome. But there needs to be a character or a story arc or some kind of ludicrous nature to the film that, like, gives it that reason to be remembered.
Yeah.
And that's missing here for me.
Yeah.
And I would love, is it just the opening? Is like, I would love it if someone told me.
They just go to the jokes over and over and over again.
But they're not played as jokes. I don't feel like it's deliberately stupid. It's just stupid.
Well, I agree that it's stupid. I do think it's deliberately stupid. But
okay. Maybe that's what I was missing, that little subtle tip of the hand or that little wink that said, we're in on this joke. Because I felt condescended.
You didn't you think that is that you saw the sort of pseudo, I say this satirically, you know, the indigenous character, you know, because it is just a white guy in brown makeup almost, running and looking back in that cheap rotoscope fireball, that you didn't think that...
Again, that was the first 3 minutes of the movie which I found amusing.
Yeah.
And then everything
But
stopped.
I do think they were in on the joke.
I don't know. Maybe you're right, and I would love it if that was true.
Yeah,
I would love it. I would love to know that is true.
Yeah,
having watched the entire movie.
Yep,
I'm not convinced.
Alrighty, fair enough. Fair enough.
We've been really brief on this, but is there anything else you want to say about the Cremators?
I love the title. I think it's good, but
maybe an unselfconscious, deliberately satirical remake. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go away.
August 14th. Notes on experiment designated X. Experimental subject, myself, James Xavier.
X, the most fantastic experiment you have ever taken part in, presents Ray Milland in his most challenging role since his Academy Award-winning Lost Weekend. X, the man with the X-ray eyes.
Are you all right? It's like a splitting of the world. More light than I've ever seen. Filled with light.
X, the man with the X-ray eyes, tries to help the most desperate in our society and enjoys all the delights of secretly studying sexology.
Headache?
No, it's just my eyes.
Okay. We're going way back to 1963 for X, the man with X-ray eyes.
Yes.
It is written and directed by it's written by Robert Dylan, pardon me, and it is directed by Roger Corman.
Yes.
And it's
who does not need any introduction.
Right. One of literally hundreds of micro-budget horror movies and exploitation movies and thriller movies that he had his hand in some measure or another, either writing, producing, directing, all over the place. X, the man with X-ray eyes, does have some notoriety and some crowd around it, but I don't see it making a lot of even best of the 60s lists, except for me.
Yeah.
It's dated.
Yes.
It's a dated movie, but it's 1963, like we're talking 60 years old and change.
Yeah.
So that comes fair enough. What I dig about the concept is like...
And it's a ludicrous concept.
The scientist is experimenting on himself to give him these visions, and he seems to become addicted to the procedure and the power that he gets from it. And being on the cusp of this creativity. He's another mad scientist, but interestingly, he is his own subject.
Yes.
And once he takes these eye drops, even though his friend is screaming at him to not do it, and after initially having some success and even enjoying it, he finds it doesn't shut off, and the only thing he can think to treat it is to keep giving him these eye drops. And
one of the worst decisions in cinematic history, but yes.
Yeah, he goes from being able to see through people's clothes to seeing their sexy 60s lingerie underwear or whatever, to being able to see through his eyelids, to being able to see the colors and the building blocks of the micro-universe beyond. Things man was not meant to know.
Yes.
And then, he starts losing his shit, and he inexplicably and accidentally kills somebody in a kind of amusing accidental murder.
Yes. Yes.
And
one of the more
he has to
hilarious
go into hiding and becomes like a circus freak.
Yeah.
And yes, it's got that big score from the 60s to sort of tell you how to feel in every scene.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of the kind of newsreel kind of vibe to some of the delivery of some of the lines. You got a very young performance from Don Rickles, of all people.
Yep.
And the way that the movie interprets like what he is seeing through this sort of kaleidoscopic, very 60s psychedelic vibe. It reminds me in the movie we talked about at the beginning of this podcast.
Yes.
When he has his hallucinogenic venom dreams and they do all the weird crossfading.
Yeah.
They're experimenting on what they're going to tell you to sleep. And I think that this is, again, like he did in so many of his other movies, appealing to the spaced out
60s
drug subculture that would appreciate it on that level as well.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting kind of concept. I think that the main character is a little bit hard to take in just how stupid he is to just
goes
double and triple and quadruple down on these eye drops no matter how fucking bad.
You are screaming at the screen going, Lord, no, stop it, no.
The minute he stops the experiment, the movie kind of stops progressing or building. So
I know.
And yes, it has a kind of nightmarish, sort of famously explicit, violent end scene that we can talk about if you like to at some point.
Yes.
So again, through the filter of the 60s, considering that it's this old, I think it's well executed if you like the vibe of that sort of very 60s aesthetic.
Yeah.
Because some of it is kind of so arch that it's really hard to take seriously, but I think by Corman standards, this is actually a pretty straight-faced, sci-fi thriller.
Yeah.
And considering it is a low budget, and considering he would pump out 5 or 6 movies a year, this is a very solid product to my mind. It's a good story, it's an interesting story, and it's kind of fun watching this time capsule play out. So a thumbs up, maybe not a foaming at the mouth thumbs up, but a solid thumbs up for me.
Yeah.
I did not react toxically like I did to the previous film.
Okay. I think it's such a ludicrous idea of a movie, but the fact that Ray Milland, our lead actor, totally pulls it. Yeah, he totally pulls it off, which is a big feat, because he makes everything believable, no matter how silly this movie gets.
And it gets silly to the point that you think it should hurt the stakes, but somehow you still want to see where this is going.
Yeah. This guy is actually he's actually was an Academy Award-winning actor for The Long Weekend by Billy Wilder. Did you ever see that movie?
The Long Weekend, no.
Yeah. Anyways, and also he was in Dial M for Murder, so he's with Hitchcock. But the fact that, and there's they have fun with the concept of this movie, and which is something I also appreciated in that sort of schlocky B-movie oeuvre that is this movie as well. I giggled at the sort of boyish, party dance scene, which is so very cringy 60s in a lot of ways.
But weirdly innocent, too.
Yeah.
We're not seeing them naked, we're seeing them in their underwear. And he seems to really enjoy it. But
no, I think you're seeing them naked. It's just the camera never pans up and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And But he can also diagnose them. Like, he can literally see, oh, you have something wrong with you, and you better go get this checked right away and save lives.
Yeah.
But once you get to the point where you can see through your eyelids and you can't turn it off, and it affects your sleep and your life, and you accidentally push people out of windows because you're not seeing them, you're seeing beyond them.
Yes.
He put himself in this position. It kind of reminds me of the Richard Matheson story, The Incredible Shrinking Man.
Okay.
In that he keeps on shrinking, so the stages of what he's going through keeps on getting more and more difficult, difficult. The house cat is a major threat for a while, and then he's so small that the house cat's not really a threat. Yeah. But the spider in his basement is a huge threat, and he keeps getting smaller, and it never resolves. We leave that story, and he's still getting smaller, but he can't do anything about it. So he's seeing things and exploring things that no man will ever see.
Yeah.
The difference between his scenario and this guy's is this one's self-inflicted.
Yeah.
And he does have an off switch. There is a way for him to make the vision stop.
Yeah.
So, but that's interesting because it constantly gives the movie somewhere to go.
Yeah.
He's constantly seeing more, so consequently we're constantly seeing more.
Yeah.
And that, keeps the engine of the movie running, which, again, the previous movie just was the same scene repeated over and over again, and it wasn't an interesting scene.
Yeah. I do like the tonal shifts as well in the movie, because it really is about 4 or 5 short stories about this man who is, I would say, inflicted with this addiction because he wants to know more. He wants to know all the knowledge, and and he's a celebrity because he does enjoy that part a little bit when he's this magical surgeon who can do all this stuff, and then he becomes almost like this, prolific god. Good seeing Don Rickles as well as a pretty good supporting role. Good for him. Also Dick Smith for any sort of Joe Dante lovers.
Yeah, well, he's sort of in a lot of these movies, and I believe he was still the same character that he always plays in these movies, where he uses that line or that name anyway.
Yeah, but then it takes this really dark turn when he accidentally kills his best friend, and then he works at a
carnival.
Yeah.
And even that, he on some level seems to enjoy being able to come off like a psychic or a visionary or a guru, whatever. There's always this progression, and I think there's a not so subtle addiction metaphor, not just to putting these drops in his eyes, but to the worship, to the knowing things that other people don't know, and to the fanfare and appreciation of like all of that. Addiction.
Yeah.
And the movie didn't necessarily need that on top of everything else, but it's there.
Yeah.
Again, it's not just a quick, cheapy knockoff. I do think that there was some consideration put into the sort of sci-fi angle of the sci-fi.
Yeah.
A lot of times sci-fi meant space, or sci-fi meant alien.
Yeah.
And this sci-fi meant the idea of what maybe we could do to further our vision, literally.
Yeah.
So, for having that much going on, even with the clumsy execution, I think there's enough interesting here to kind of endorse.
I also did like sort of the Vegas side story where he's figured out a way to make money with cards with the most supportive girlfriend probably in cinematic history. Like, she is definitely by his side through a lot of this stuff. But I guess that's sort of the beginning of the end when that goes all haywire. But no, I really enjoyed the Man with the X-Ray Eyes. I think it's a good exploitation, once again, schlocky picture. Good job, Roger Corman.
Yeah. And just literally one of hundreds of his catalog. And I think, if any reason, that's maybe why it gets lost in the shuffle. It's just
what about that ending, though?
He made so many of them. I do think that they pushed the violence with him. He has to gouge out his own eyes.
Yeah.
And it was pretty explicit in a way that you didn't see, at least in the 60s yet.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of believe that he cuts his eyes out.
Yeah.
I also remember at the kid when he is revealed at the carnival, when they take the blindfold off of him and you see his eyes glowing that silver, sparkling. I remember being troubled by it as a kid, like that wasn't what I was expecting to see. It was an oddly strong special effect for a, quote, old movie.
Yeah.
And it is punchier. Unlike Peter Proud or unlike some of these other ones, I did kind of feel for him.
Yeah.
He'd seen everything. He'd seen beyond. And now for the rest of his life, he will see nothing.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, is it on the nose? Maybe. But I mean, I think it has some narrative teeth to it.
Hey, it's X.
The Man with X-Ray Eyes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cheesy. Again, I wouldn't mind maybe not a remake of this movie, but a modern exploration of this concept. Either something you do to your eyes, or even like something that you can look through so that you can see, the building blocks of the universe. But in a way, it's too much information for you. It will fuck you up. You will go from being addicted to it to desperately wanting it to be shut off.
Wouldn't that be altered states, though?
Something like that, but I think maybe more focused. Like, again, the vision specifically, as opposed to what do they call it? When you explore psychedelically, there's a name for these types of people who are. I can't remember. Psychonauts.
Okay,
psychonauts.
Okay.
They take psychedelics and they explore,
the unknown universe.
And,
yes,
clockwork elves or whatever crazy mythology is being invented. Anyway, for all of that and for the execution of it, as very 60s as it is, interesting movie. Anything else you want to say about X?
No, just X, Man with X-Ray Eyes.
All right, the Beckmann,
yeah,
and your host and random Canadian Larry Parsons have reviewed 6 retro cinema movies.
Yes.
And I guess I was a little keyed up on the coffee because I feel like I was speaking super passionately about some of these movies, but I'm honestly pretty neutral about a lot of this list. I think that there is some biases that play into my rank.
Sure.
But I'm going to cop to them.
Okay.
But I don't know if you've ever been on Rank and Review before, Lee, but typically my guest will first give me their list of the movies from their least favorite to
let me write down the instructions.
Okay.
You want me to do what now?
That's right. It reminds me of when I was on Dubray's podcast and I completely forgot how he scored his his rank. I completely derailed the whole podcast through my abject ignorance. But I think that maybe you're practiced enough that we can hear your rank.
You're being too kind.
What was the least favorite of these 6 retro horrors, and why was it the Cremators?
You don't know that I chose the Cremators unless you never mind. Okay, so yes, number 6 was the Cremators because it started off, in that sort of zany, wild movie, but then quickly turned into very dull, thudding, why am I watching this cinema? Great, silly concept, just didn't go the distance, didn't have, enough in the execution. So number 6 is the Cremators. Number 5, I have Taste the Blood of Dracula. I sort of did dig the whole sort of, rich white people that have, gotten so bored with their lives, they're living in a brothel, almost kind of thing. But
they pretend that they're legit, respectable Brits, but they, they like their
and they
horse.
get their comeuppances.
That's right.
But it is a typical Hammer horror film that is Taste the Blood of Dracula. Number 4, I have the way more erotic than it should have been, the not Resurrection,
Reincarnation.
The Reincarnation of Peter Proud. Not bad. It just sort of sat there. That's the best way I can sort of describe it. At number 3, I have X, The Man with the X-Ray Eyes. I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought they had fun with the concept, and it is a very silly concept, and still made us cared. Even though I have to admit, this scientist is is both the smartest and stupidest scientist I'd seen in a while. Just keep on doing it, but why? But then we would have no movie. So there we go. So number 3, The Man with X, The Man with X-Ray Eyes. 2, probably one of the most uncomfortable movies I've seen in a while, which is I love the fact that, this is a movie that could not be made today, and it's just snakes, man. Snakes! And then at number one, a film that I didn't think I would be as affected as much. I enjoyed that it went there, and this is a very young David Cronenberg. So at number one, I have David Cronenberg's Shivers, a very schlocky, disturbing horror movie that I think people should go and see.
Okay. All right. That's a really good list.
Yeah.
I want you to remain calm and understand that it's going to be okay.
Okay.
New Rank and Review champion.
Yay! Suck it, Scott!
I knew it. I was going to come to this. I thought maybe you and I would go, if we went wrong, it would be the top two.
Yeah.
It kind of all hung on how much of a guilty pleasure you found Shivers.
Okay.
Some people might call bullshit that I put Cronenberg at number one.
Okay.
I did say in the review that it has an amateur quality to it, and I will stand by that. But just to do the list, for the sake of doing the list, because I am the host in Random Canadian, and I get to do that.
Three-time champion. You know what? I'm going to text him and gloat.
So it'll be early. It'll be
so
early in
mature.
the 12th season that this episode will drop. Consequently, so that other people will have time, at least a chance to dethrone you. So
I really should get a belt for this.
The Cremators, again. I was smiling for the first 3 minutes, and then my smile died and never returned.
Yeah,
like I'm not ever going to watch that movie again. I think there's just more important things to say. Tasted Blood of Dracula is. I mean, I was struggling to find plot points to even talk about. It's another of the Hammer Dracula series. I'm told that the Frankenstein series is actually more dynamic and interesting as far as variety within the chapters.
Yeah.
This just feels like another chapter.
Yeah.
So it's in 5th place. The Reincarnation of Peter Proud.
Yeah.
What can we say? The soundtrack of this should be like the tragically hip song, The Inevitability of Death.
Yes.
Maybe with like a sort of 70s retro porn soundtrack vibe to it, a waka-cha to it.
Yeah.
Some of it seemed unnecessary. Like, I guess you could get psychologically that she's so damaged that she relives the rape and it's a sexual charge for her, but it's not how it felt while I was watching it. I felt like I was supposed to be appreciating naked Margot Kidder, and it was a little uncomfortable, and it kind of undercut the tragedy that they were working towards for me.
Yeah.
But if you like retro 70s sexploitation, this is definitely that. I think the middle of the list sounds about right.
Yes.
We have good taste, you and I. X-Men with X-Ray Eyes, like I was singing its praises, and I still do, but I think it has maybe a smaller audience than the other two that we're going to be talking about overall. Yes. I think some people will like the sort of far-out, hipster sort of flag-waving that's going on and kind of get the Ned Flanders parents percentage, We tried nothing and we're out of ideas. And it's got ideas, but it is a cheap 60s Corman horror movie, and all of the stuff that you expect to come with that kind of comes with that too. I enjoyed the ride. It's number 3. This is number 2. They used real snakes.
Hiss it, don't say it. There you go.
They used real snakes, and the actors interacted with real snakes. I feel like this deserves to be remembered for that. But also a cautionary tale. Don't do that. This movie did it, and look at they did it, and here it is. But do not look at this as an example. This was a different, backward time. But if you can get past it, watch it, because it actually has kind of.
I don't think you'll be disappointed.
That's right. I'm Canadian. I love Cronenberg. It's kind of a zombie movie. It's kind of perverted. It's got that weird, like I say, early Peter Jackson, I don't give a fuck about your feelings energy to it. You don't like this? Well, I guess it's not for you then.
I just can't believe he got evicted for making this movie. That alone makes it
has historical significance for Canada, and it got me in the feels. And I'm not passionate about the list. It might be getting away with something.
Yeah.
Maybe should have done better, or maybe the Man with X-Ray Eyes is more culturally significant. But I'm Canadian. I'm a proud Canadian. I'm supporting Cronenberg, and I guess on some level, I wanted you to get your title back.
I went with my feelings.
So, he's going to be able to carry the reign for a little while, because this isn't going to air till next season, because we're doing this in advance.
Yes.
But Scott will have to inevitably hand over the title. I will give you the last word on this Retro Horrors episode of Rank and Review.
Well, first of all, I want to thank God for all the hard work that it does. I want to thank my mother, my father. I want to thank my wife, my child.
I mean, short of having your daughter, this is like the peak of your life right here.
Total peak. It's all downhill from here. I just want to say thank you so much. You know, all the hours that I put in, all the push-ups, sit-ups.
It was worth sitting through Cremators.
Oh,
if
totally.
it meant you got here.
Exactly. Not quite almost, but just, yeah, anyways. I want to say that thank you very much for having me on. It's good to be back, baby. It's good to be back.
And as far as retro horror, old can still bring gold.
Yes.
See,
Ooh,
it rhymed.
It rhymed.
It rhymed. That just came out of my brain.
You're a genius.
Wow, we did it, see? We got through all those retro horror films, see? And we survived. And now it's on the record. Now it's in print, get me? I'm sorry about that. I apologize. I hope you enjoyed this look at some retro cinema. The Beckmann retains or gets his crown back, and he couldn't be happier about it. He was itchy and uncomfortable without it, and since we were going to bank this, now it's going to actually end up dropping very early in the 12th season, because, you know, he wants that crown. He wants a physical crown that he can wear around his house and feel powerful. And I guess we have no choice but to respect and accept it. Congratulations, Lee Beckmann, Rank and Review champion. Do you have feedback? I mean, my listeners, have we feedback for this episode? Have we feedback for Beckmann himself? You can send it to ranknreview@gmail.com. That's ranknreview@gmail.com. Please consider checking me out on YouTube. Giving that a like or a comment or a subscribe is very helpful. Thank you so much for your ears. Give some support to my friends' podcast, The Shelf Shedding Movie Show and A Lifetime of Hallmark. And you'll find Rank and Review tends to drop every other Wednesday. Let's do this. Thank you for listening.